No, wrong one. Hello there. Hey, we are just getting started here. This is Mike Durr, Kingwood Mortgage Guy, and I'm fortunate to have Joe Salas with me from Byrd Properties. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have, I guess I'm not going to have, let's see, add the stream.
For real estate. Here are your hosts, the Kingwood Mortgage Guy, Mike Durr, who uses his 25 years as a mortgage professional to help people improve their credit, and Joe Salas, an accomplished home inspector, real estate agent, and trainer of new agents for Byrd Property International. Together, they will help you understand what you need to know to get the most out of your real estate investment. Let's get started.
That was a little sluggish there, Mike.
Let's get started. I'm telling you, it was sluggish getting up there. It was even more sluggish once it started playing. I gotta have to check my record or see what's going on with that. Man, I tell you, they shouldn't have me as the producer. I shouldn't be the producer.
Great job, man. You're doing a great job. I love it.
If you are in the market for real estate,
go away. Stop. Remove you. Go away. I had enough of real estate. Give me some of that real estate. Okay, there we are. All right, so back at you, man. Tell me what you've been doing. I know you've been busy, so talk to me. Tell me a little bit about it.
Busy, man. Just getting ready for vacation. I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks next week. Traveling up to Boston. Trying to wrap everything up as best I can before we leave. You know how that is. As a small business owner, nothing is ever completely wrapped up. So, inspection business has been picking up tremendously. Sales business is going strong, and the training business as well is going strong. So super excited about the growth potential for the remainder of the year.
Well, one of the things that I talk about in this session is that January and February are traditionally a little on the slow side. This year, maybe ridiculously slow. March and April, maybe even, I think March and April, things started to hint at that it might be a reasonable year. And then really May and June and July are full bore. I mean, that's when it should be happening. And if, God forbid, if you're slow at that time, then it's not going to be a good year for you. But I'm seeing stuff happen now. And nationally, we're hearing about stuff happening. And part of the presentation we're doing today is going to talk a little bit about our business, what's happening nationally, try to bring it down to the local and see if it can make some sense and help some first-time home buyers decide if it's a good time to buy a house. Of course, we're prejudiced maybe or biased, but it's because we've been doing this a long time. And then the other thing for anybody else that's watching this might be helpful information to share with those first-time home buyers or even the people that are staying in their house right now and are loan locked, like we talk about many times. Mm-hmm. So that's it. So here is, let's see if I can get this right. Okay. Buyer demand, we're going to talk a little bit about that, home prices, and a $4,000 grant program that one of my best investors is doing right now. And we got Tim King down here. We always like to throw a shout out to Tim King. Tim is on the show with us from time to time. He's a local appraiser, been appraising for 20 plus years. Very good guy and source of information for us. So we'd like to make sure if you ever need a good appraiser outside of a real estate deal, since you can't pick him like that, you would call him. Tim King is EST Appraisals. So here's what we're going to try to cover today. No, we're not going to try. We're going to do it. Is buyer demand still a thing? Like some people wonder if there is any buyer demand. Home prices compared to what? We're going to talk about what the home prices are doing right now. How is home inventory holding up or holding down? America chooses the best investment choice. I think this is a good one. Interest rates are being a little stubborn, but I think that they're bouncing around. It's pretty annoying. And then I want to tell you a little bit about a $4,000 grant program that I think is one of the better programs out there particularly for new buyers with a modest, not modest, even a medium, a little bit less than the medium income. Okay. So that's where we're going, Joe. You ready to ride with us?
I just texted you a lead, Mike. I'm ready to ride. Let's do it.
Oh, man, you are the best. All right. So where did the home buyers go? Well, if you look at this comparison, when you compare home buyer showing, and this is an entity called the showing index, and what they track is they track the people that are going and looking at homes. I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's the number of people they let in houses and stuff. It may be tied to the lock boxes or something to that effect. But it's something that these the gurus seem to appreciate this information. Well, if you look at my chart on the right-hand side, you see the showings for 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and then 2021 and 2022 are blown out. And that's what we compare a lot of things to, is what's happened in the last couple of years. But the thing that surprised me when I saw this is in 2023, the number of people that are seeing homes or being shown homes at this time, and of course this is matched up with numbers up through this date in 2023, is way higher than what it was in 17 through 20. Now it's not obviously as high as 21 and 20, but or 21 and 22, but I think this is good news.
Yeah, I do too. But to compare to 21 and 22, it's nonsensical. Like you say, those are unicorn years. Those won't happen for a while again, right?
Yeah. Well, it's probably a good thing that they won't happen, because there needs to be some normalcy around there. But it was fun. I will give you credit. It was fun.
It was a hell of a ride.
21 and 22 were like unlike anything we've seen. 2023, I'm describing it as a back to reality type year, but I think it's still going to be a good one. And the other reports and graphs that I show seem to show that. So we started looking at 2023 and compared it to 2019, 2020. We looking good there. And I've got to get rid of that. All right, so showing time measures, buyer activity, touring homes, and this is by month. And this is why there were people that thought that things were going to be a little bad. Of course, we started February, March, April, and then about May of 22, things started pooping out a little bit. And I noticed that, and that's why I sold one of the rental homes that I had. But boy, it just became more and more evident all the way back to December. And even in January, though, it popped right back up. Now, we didn't see this in a lot of the reports, but it's an indication that, people put a lot of that stuff behind them and they're ready to go.
It's that scarlet letter effect, Mike, that we talked about last time.
Yeah, well, explain that again, because I want to hear that again. And these people don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I call it the scarlet letter effect, where people are emotional about something. What was the event that happened, right? So if you look back at that previous slide, you see the decline of traffic starting around March, April time period of last year, right? What happened? Well, that's when interest rates started skyrocketing up to 7+, right? Similarly to back in 2017, 2018, there was an effect, and I call it the scarlet letter effect, of the flood from Harvey. And so the issue was that a lot of people were gun shy or emotional. There was a lot of emotion attached to that flood. And so just the same, there's a lot of emotion attached to the rise in interest rate. But at the end of the day, right, those buyers came back and are buying houses that were previously flooded in Harvey. And as we see in the numbers of January and February of 2023, buyers are coming back. I mean, regardless of what the interest rate is, there's still buyers out there that need to buy a house. And so that's what we're seeing, is like that emotional effect has worn off. And now we're looking at the realization of what we are going forward.
Yeah, and I think every month we get a little bit less of that shock and awe that happened back in the earlier part of this year and last year. So this is what's kind of interesting, and it kind of hits that note. Waiting for home prices to fall. Well, it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen here. And a lot of the reports that came out at the end of 2022, November, December, and the actual things that were happening is just people were, that thing you just described, scarlet letter, was effective, and home prices declined pretty substantially. I think it's 96% of the homes had some kind of, different, they weren't bouncing up like they were. And all of a sudden here in March of 2023, there's now, instead of 96% going lower, 92% are at listing price or even higher, and there's only 8% that are getting knocked around. And that's going to happen pretty much in any market, just because 8% of the homes are not in great shape. And I mean, there are people moving out of those homes because they have to move, or they don't have a choice. They didn't have time to fix a house up, or that kind of stuff. So the message is, if you're waiting for prices to fall, you may be waiting for nothing. I mean, it's a mistake. Nationally, the worst declines are behind us. While home prices vary in each area, I mean, they're always it's all local. Waiting could cost you more if prices continue to climb. Joe, it's interesting. I had one of my customers call me, I guess it was yesterday, yeah. And he said, I've been kind of holding off, and I just wasn't sure what the market was going to do. And I quoted you. I said, Byron, I said, waiting, the best time to buy a house was 2 or 3 years ago, dude. And the next best time is today. And you got to get back in the market, because the price of the homes are continuing going up. It's going to be more expensive every time that you think about waiting. You've got to do something. And he kind of came around and said, yeah, I know, I gotta do that. But it's hard for people, and it is painful a little bit, because they're not going to be able to buy the same home they could a year ago or 2 years ago, for sure. All right, so this is just one more slide in different format. And what this one says, all the key agencies are measuring higher prices across the U.S. And this shows Case-Shiller, FHFA, CoreLogic, Black Knight, and Zillow. And you can see in January, 3 out of the 5 showed negative growth in the home pricing. FHFA and Black Knight were the only positive ones. And not everybody's reported on this one to this date for April, but the increases, well, in February, it looked like everybody was positive. And in March, they were positive by a higher amount. And the one that is, this is higher again, but CoreLogic, if you added that up on a month by month, that'd be a 10% increase this year in appreciation. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what I described before. I mean, it's prime time right now, May, June, July. This is prime time. Some people would say August. I think that because school's starting so much earlier this year, it could affect August a little bit. Won't be quite as strong as the months we're in starting right now. And the other point I made is, all of these entities, these measures of real estate activity, they can't all be wrong. So home prices are still going up. This is good for sellers, not great for buyers. But if you're thinking about selling, guess what you should do? Call Joe Salas. There's his number right down there.
Love you, Mike.
You got it. All right. So why are home prices still rising, Joe? What do you think it is?
Inventory.
You think?
Yep.
Well, this is this is a measurement of what's happening. There was a little bit of an increase in inventory last month, I think. Is that it's just starting to show that there's some inventory, but it's being brought down really fast. And obviously the inventory from last year is way less than what it is right now. So it's not going to take much to eat up the inventory that's out there. And when there's a shortage of a product, that means that the people that own the product can sell it for more, because more people want it. So, I mean, the message again is, you can't wait. You just can't wait. I put this in there. I love this. I mean, this is something that I did add one little thing there, but it's America's opinion of the best long-term investment in 2023. And this is what's the best long-term investment? Well, could be gold and silver, stocks, mutual funds, savings accounts, bonds, guns, or real estate. And I put real estate as the last one, but it's actually the first one. It's the 34% on this chart over here. So 34% of the people in this survey said that real estate's the best long-term investment. Gold was 26%. Savings, let's see, stocks and mutual bonds was 18. The bonds are getting hit hard. That's where rates are coming from, 13%. And then bonds are 7%. Savings account. Whoever thinks savings account and CDs is the best ones, they need to wake up. Guns, that's a whole different group of people that think guns are the best way to invest their money right now. So I just wanted to, I think I added that one. But for the last 11 years in a row, it's been real estate. And so what more do you need to tell people? I mean, do you just have to hit them over the head with it? Real estate is a great investment as long as what, Joe? What do you got to do to make sure that you don't mess up in real estate?
Buy at the right time. Buy a solid investment, which means you get it inspected and understand the condition of the home. And what else?
Easy. You work with somebody that knows what they're doing. That's been around.
Okay. If they're working with me, that's a given, Mike, right?
Well, there you go. But yeah, you got to, I mean, they don't know that. Yeah. I mean, true, the first time they've ever seen this. The other thing is they got to get an inspection. They got to know what they're buying. I had, I don't know if I told you the story, but I had a couple actually working with Denise Moore, as a matter of fact, and they found a house they loved. They put an offer in it. It was accepted. They did the inspection. Unfortunately, they didn't use you, Joe, but they evidently got a good inspection. And there was something about the house that was off. Had something to do with the foundation. And so I think Denise was smart enough to tell them that they may want to get an additional inspection to see what the depth of that foundation issue was. And it turned out that, it was going to be a disaster. I mean, that foundation problem could negatively affect just about everything in that house, whether the window seals, whether the pool, whether all the things that went around with it. Yeah. And so, obviously we wanted them to get that house, but it wasn't the right house. It would have been a bad investment for them. So those are critical things that you guys take care of and help people. And a lot of times they don't understand that. They don't appreciate it. Okay, so interest rates. Let's talk about it. First off, I guess this is a confession. I am a dyed-in-the-wool optimist. Rates are not as low as I'd hoped. Factors affecting rates are multiple, and some of them were just downright unexpected. One of them was the government spending limit. Tobacco, fortunately, we're past that now. Banking stress and bank closures, and the new one that's out there is the oil prices. Have you heard about this one?
No. What's that?
Well, so evidently President Biden had promised the Arab group that controls all the oil that he would replenish the oil that he used from our reserves, and he's not doing it. And they're at this point saying that they're going to sell it to us at a higher price than what was initially agreed upon. And anyway, it's just the bottom line is that oil prices and gas prices are going to go up because of it. And the problem with that for inflation is that everything has to be transported to where it ultimately is used, right? So when the gas prices go up, that's a real big factor for the cost of anything in the grocery aisle, anything in lumber. It just makes everything go up. And so it's another concern that's out there for inflation. And if you control inflation, that controls rates. So it's not pretty. I'm almost hard to say this, the only good thing on the horizon that looks good for rates is a recession. And that's basically what is pretty much a slam dunk that's going to happen within the next 6 to 12 months is we're going to have some kind of recession. Hopefully it's a mild one. But the good news about that, for the real estate industry, houses don't depreciate when you have a recession, but rates do. So that could be positive for that. Just wonder when it's going to happen. So moving on. All right, so I'm talking about this new program, and this was one of my favorite lenders that we work with. They're super fast, they're aggressive, and what they're doing, and they're not the only one doing it, but they are offering up to a $4,000 credit towards your down payment or your closing cost. It's not one of those deals where they charge you a higher rate to give you the money, which is the one thing that I have trouble with most of the first-time homebuyer programs. But they effectively, if you buy a house that's $200,000, they'll give you can get in that house for 1% plus your closing cost. A lot of times you get the seller to pay your closing cost. Now here the trick is they want you to be a first-time home buyer. They also want you to have no more than 80% of the median income. All right. Now that can be a problem for some couples and some people, but I looked up what Harris County, Montgomery County, Brazoria, Fort Bend, all the counties. As a matter of fact, I have the list on my desk of every county in the state of Texas, and the ones in our effective area, that 80% medium is $72,640, and it's scheduled to go up soon. So as soon as that comes out, I'll know about it. It should be pretty soon. But that still allows for $6,053.33. Here's the interesting part. If you are a couple, you don't have to use both couples' income. That's unusual. If you're a commissioned person, you get a base and a commission, you don't have to count the commission. If you're a W-2 worker and you get overtime, guess what? You don't have to use the overtime. So they've really made it so that there's a lot of flexibility with this program. This also comes with, obviously, it's a conventional loan, good rates, low MI, and I mean, I think it's a terrific program. If you wanted to find out, I've got this website up here, https://sf.freddiemac.com, and it's working with the U.S. Affordable Lending Home Possible Eligibility Map. Okay, that's where you go, and that'll tell you if that home is going to be, or if what your income it can be to buy in that area. So really think this is finally something that I can really get behind and try to push it, because I think it's such a good program.
Yeah, that's actually, I was talking about this program earlier on in the week to a buddy of mine, and him and his fiance, they're looking for a house, and I was like, you need to call Mike. This is a great program for both of y'all. You are first-time home buyers.
Yeah, and as FICO goes down to 620 on this puppy too, so a lot of people can cover. So here are the details. Home buyer education is required, but it's free. 620 minimum FICO. Debt ratio must meet Freddie Mac guide, and that usually means it's going to be no more than 50, probably in the 45% part. Income is flexible, as I just described. I kind of got ahead of myself. Married, not required to use the spouse. Non-occupant borrowers are allowed. That's interesting. And then aid from lender is capped right now at $4,000. So we'll see how that goes. It's still $4,000 extra. Mm-hmm. So this is one I had this guy walking in a video, and the software that I used to put this on wouldn't take it. It was too darn big. I had a couple videos. Oh, you know what? Oh man, Joe, hold on a second. Let me try something here. I've got to.
We're doing it live, Mike. We're doing it live.
We're doing it live, and I had something. You know, I usually like to have something that is. And I think I've got that. Let me see if I can pull this up without killing us here. Let me see. Where do I go? Here, maybe. Try this. Let me just see if I can click to it real quick. Can you see that?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh, man. All right, let me try it this way. Nope, don't want that. Get out of here. Stop. All right, guys, bear with me. This is going to be worth it. This will definitely be worth it.
Famous last words, Mike.
Let's see. Is this it? Oh, man, I did it before. From the studio. All right, well, oh wait, here goes. Here goes. This one. Share. All right, so this is Joe Salas. This is Joe Salas walking out of a listing appointment.
Where? I don't see it. The guy in the wind? I don't see anything on the screen, Mike. It's not playing.
You don't see it? Oh. No.
Doing it live.
I'm sitting there laughing at it. All right, let's see. You didn't see that? Oh man. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I'll figure it out, but I'll send you a clip of it. It's something I found on Instagram. It was pretty funny. All right, so back to reality. Well, that was, at least I was amused. I guess that's not really great for anybody that's watching, unless you got to see it too. If you did, let me know. But looking for the perfect home, this is what they're facing headwinds in their home search, and it's getting to that point, not dissimilar than it was in 2022, when it was just hard to find the right home. And a lot of the homes that people want to buy, they can't afford anymore. But looking for the perfect home, searches. Now here are the guys that are facing headwinds, searching for the lowest rate. They're looking for a great school district. They're looking for a bargain price, and they're looking for a property that doesn't need any repairs. That's a mistake. All right. I mean, you've got to, particularly first-time home buyers, if you're well-heeled and you're looking to spend $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, you may be able to find that kind of stuff. But right now, the guys that are looking in this arena, and there's another group here too, home shoppers just can't get out of their own way. You're looking for zero down financing with the best interest rates, that's easy to qualify with broad debt to income ratios, searching for the unicorn. The unicorns are pretty much gone.
They're gone.
The time to catch those was maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And so I'm just telling you, at least it's my suggestion that they maybe lower their expectations of buying that home that doesn't need any work. And what I see, particularly first-time home buyers, who we direct this information to, is anticipate that you're going to need do some work. You may have to do the floors. You may have to paint. You may have to update the kitchen over the course of the next 2 or 3 years to get that home in a position where you want it to be. Now, when you do that, what happens? It appreciates. Those kind of homes appreciate right now. And what I would say is find a home in an area where you want to live. Find a home that you'll be comfortable living in right now, and then improve that house as you live in it. And that's the way I think the first-time home buyers are going to be able to be successful. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it's right. The thing they need to be aware of, and we mentioned it earlier on in the seminar, is the condition of the home. I mean, they don't want to jump into something that's just going to be over their heads as far as their ability to improve things like AC systems, roof, foundation problems. Those are all things that are high money dollar item type fixes. And if a first-time home buyer is in a tight situation, cash on hand wise, then they just need to be cautious with that. And a good inspector will help them identify what the general condition of the home is at the time of purchase, and then they can make an informed decision on that total cost of the home going forward.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think about when I bought my first home. I mean, even though I've been self-identified as the least handy person in the United States, I'm getting better. Thank goodness for YouTube, man. If it wasn't for YouTube, I'd be in bad shape. But there are a lot of guys that have a lot more skills than this kid did, and they'll do better than I did. We were lucky. I had Sandy's family to help. So what are you guys going to do? I mean, if you were out there right now, it's really, I think, if you wait, there's going to be a penalty of a higher priced house. I do think that I'm like I said, I'm an optimist. And I think that rates will come down. I'm just not sure when they're going to come down. So it's hard to sit there and wait that. But I think it's a good, for those that make that decision now, should you wait? I think it's a mistake. I think it's the right time now. And Joe, I quote you all the time. Joe says this is the best time to buy was 2 or 3 years ago. Well, I can't help you with that. But Texas is a hot commodity in more ways than one. Of course, it's getting ready to be hot anyway. I'm not sure I left it in there. I probably took it out, but it was that thing about moving. Where are people moving to? And you think about it, people are moving from out of state and coming to Texas. It's the #1 destination based on all the moving companies out there that they took a survey from. Those people have to live somewhere. Okay, so they're either going to rent, so you're going to be in competition for the property you rent, or you're going to be able to buy, or if you can't buy, they're going to buy houses, and there's more competition for that, and we just don't have enough houses here right now. So here's what is kind of like an overview of the pre-qualification process. We look for reasonable credit scores showing you can handle your accounts responsibly. Okay, that goes down to 580 for FHA and 620 for conventional. So that's a low bar. You don't have to be perfect, that's for sure. But proof of consistent and stable income for the last 2 years, proof of enough assets to cover the down payment and closing costs, or in this case, with the opportunity to use that $4,000 grant that our lender's given you, you don't even need all that. That's part. You need credit scores. You need 580 for FHA, 620 for conventional. You need to, I use the term, handle your obligations honorably. That means that you buy something, you pay for it. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
They want to make sure you don't have too much debt, that you've not, messed up. Qualifying income, that means they're verifiable with either W-2s or 1099s or tax returns. 2-year job history, no big gaps in employment. New jobs are okay. College is considered work history. I don't know, a lot of people don't know that, but you can go to college for 2-4 years, use that transcript as your previous work, and you get a new job, you come out, first paycheck stub, you've got enough income to qualify. Overtime income considered after 2 years, commission considered after 2 years. There are times when you can claim and use overtime and commissions within a year. It's got to be special circumstance on that. Assets. This is a big thing. I think that 50% of the people that aren't buying houses, this is the main reason that they're not buying. And that's why we look for loan programs that are as low as 0 down. And there's 2 out there right now. One is this USDA program, is a really good program, uses similar characteristics as FHA to qualify. The credit score, I think they want you to be about 620 is what I see most of the time on that. Good program, not available in all areas. And of course, the income is modified. You have to have, I think it may be 80% medium income on that also. VA loans are great for veterans. You get 0 down, they're awesome. Great loans, great rates. If you're a vet and you're not buying a home, you ought to look at that. Then you've got the 1% program that we just talked about, the 3% minimum for conventional loan, 3.5% for FHA. Closing cost estimates, you're going to pay 2 to 3% of that. A lot of times, let me ask you if this is a smart way to look at a house. If somebody they have down payment, but they don't have the closing costs. What would you tell them this is what I suggested. I'd say, look for homes that have been on the market for at least 2 weeks, maybe 30 days.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are a little more interested in negotiating or giving concessions. Is that a good suggestion?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, you get some sellers out there that are just adamant that their house is worth a certain amount, that they don't want to budge or work with a buyer to buy. But my idea is, and what I tell the buyers all the time is, the worst they can say is no. So let's try.
Yeah. Well, if people don't pay it, then there may be somebody out there that'll do it, but I mean, it's not going to be my kids anyway. Gifts from family are common, and 401k hardship funds. This is one of the things. If you have a 401k, you can use that money for down payment or closing costs, and then you can also pay that money back. There's no penalty on that. So I think that may have been where I stopped it today. And gosh, I'm right at 34 minutes, and that was probably 3 or 4 minutes of fumbling around looking for my video that I'll send to you anyway, because it's still funny. But Joe, dude, what else? What did I miss? What can you add to that before we go?
Mike, I think even though the winds of change have kind of slowed down a little bit as far as where we're going with interest rates and what we had kind of forecasted at the beginning of the year, the market is still hot. Around here, I have a client out of Washington, and I told her this the other day. I said, look, if it's a nice house, if it's priced right, it's gonna go. So we need to be prepared, and part of the preparation, and I tell all of my buyer clients is get in contact with Mike. Let him get you pre-qualified so we know and we're prepared to put in that offer with a strong pre-qualification letter and get you the house that you deserve.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, just people have to kind of get their act together if they want to buy in a market like this, and I don't think it's going to get any better. It may get better because of interest rates. That's about it. But Joe, I'm always thrilled to have you on the show. Appreciate you. I hope you'll be safe on your trip next week.
You too, Mike. Have fun in Florida.
Yeah, I definitely going to have a good time there. I say we try to do the show. If we can pull it together, I'll have time because I'm going to be in one spot. And you're the one that's going to be dancing around a little bit. So let me know. But
we'll try. We'll try.
If you're watching the show and you thought this content was valid or anything like that, I'd love for you to like it or subscribe to it. Give us a comment. That'd be awesome. And we'd love to see you back. We are here almost every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. We run these live, and listen, we appreciate you. So God bless you. See you next week. Thanks, Joe. Talk to you later, bud.
Yeah, man. Bye.